Hi, Dale.
Hi, Karen.
So who did you meet today?
Today I met with another channel partner called Lever, and also a person from NZTE who's from LA from the CAP team.
Oh, cool.
And another Kiwi entrepreneur who has been in San Fran for 2 years.
Awesome.
And is just about to go for a raise.
NZTE has been pretty good, actually, isn't it? Because we made the what is it called? Focus 700.
Yeah.
And has that been a really valuable kind of connection to have?
It's been really valuable. So, we had to hustle to get on that, and we had to meet some criteria, and we did. But what it's meant for me is there are people working on my behalf here. And so when I turned up, when I arrived on Monday, I already knew I had a couple of meetings. I had a friendly face. I had someone who was showing me around some of the shared co-working spaces. And and you feel there's a whole team here.
Yeah, right.
And the guy that I met today was a guy from Muddler, a Kiwi guy, architecture community product. And he was meeting with Amy from LA, who was coming up to help him. So I got to see Amy as well in the car on the way to the airport. But before that, I got to talk with him for about 20 minutes. And speaking with a Kiwi who started up here, it just seems to mean something more than anybody else who started up here.
Yeah, right.
And so NZT has been really great at facilitating that because, of course, they're helping other Kiwi companies, so you get to speak to other Kiwi companies.
Yeah. What was his feedback, Mr. Muddler, like?
Well, he's quite a serious dude from Christchurch. He said it's great. It's worked really well for them to be there. He came 8 times to San Francisco before he moved over, and that was not included in the 2 years, so he's been permanently living here for 2 years. And he gave one really good tip that I thought was really interesting for him is he has a team in New Zealand and he has a team in the US, but they're not split teams. So what I mean by that is he has his engineers and his development team in New Zealand and sales and marketing is in the US.
Yeah, right.
He said you can't split them because he tried that and they fight. Well, not fight, it's a little bit... It's just harder when you've got someone who, if you're focusing on the States, who's based in New Zealand, as well as someone who's based in the States.
Yeah, right. That seems to be the model that quite a lot of New Zealand companies like Vend and Xero and that take as well, where they have all of their production, dev shop, the product guys in New Zealand still.
Yeah.
I haven't come across anyone who's done it the other way around, where they've had all their product in the country that they're living in and they're... I mean, obviously you need your salespeople on the ground in that company, but...
I think it depends on the stage of the company as well.
Yeah, right.
Because it depends also on the VCs that you have, because I'm hearing a lot of stuff around the requirements that some VCs have over where you live and whether you actually, your head office is here.
Right.
Or whether your head office is over there, so... It depends on what head office is.
Yeah.
The head office where your development team is, or how do you decide? So I think that's a big decision.
Are you hearing a lot of VCs talking about needing, is that a real requirement from a lot of VCs that you're hearing about, or is it, a small contingent or a particular type of investor?
Everybody says that you have to. They haven't heard so much the head office, but you needed to have a base here because that means that you're serious.
Yeah.
Everyone I've spoken to is asking me where I'm based, and when I say it's not here yet, it changes the conversation.
Yeah, right.
And that's just that's not necessarily with VCs. That's just anybody. Like, oh, cool. Why? Where are you based? And when I don't say San Fran and I don't say somewhere else, they just go, oh. So in their head, I feel like they're cataloguing me. And they're saying, oh, you're not at that point yet. And so I'm not taking you that seriously or something. You just feel that they just change a little bit.
Yeah. Do you feel like if you can say we have some clients here already, does that change it in their minds a little bit? Do you get a little bit more credibility that way? Okay, so you just have to be on the ground.
I think the answer would be yes if I was to say a client that was massive.
Okay.
So if I said, yeah, we've got Salesforce or we've got Uber, then that would be okay. But it's who it is as much as whether you have having just some and not being anyone knows isn't helpful.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So it sounds like it was a good day with heaps of kind of knowledge download. What was the most exciting thing that you had today?
Exciting. The most exciting thing was probably the meeting with Lever.
Yeah.
So Lever have just got $20 million this week, maybe the beginning of this week, Monday.
Awesome.
So they're pretty well funded now.
Yeah.
They've got a team of about 65, 70. I got to have a face-to-face meeting with someone who I've been communicating with on the phone. And so that would be probably one of the things I've learned the most is if we get just mixing those two together, is that face-to-face meetings make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Huge difference. If I think about Smart Recruiters yesterday and then I think about Lever today, Lever was a bit, they weren't going to give us access to their sandbox without signing a legal document. And then because they met me and the legal document's just about there, they're saying, yes, we will.
Yeah, right.
And they're like, yeah, let's just do it. And then we started talking about all these other opportunities for partnering, and they just wanted to give, and that just wasn't going to happen if I was on the phone.
Yeah.
And then what also happens, I've been at the airport and I nearly didn't get on a flight because it was oversubscribed or whatever. But I'm so chilled out when I'm traveling on my own. I'm like, yeah, I'll just fly tomorrow. Don't even worry about it. But anyway, I ended up on the plane. But just while I was waiting at the airport, Lever came back to me that day. So I just sent them in the morning and they came back to me within like 8 hours saying, can you come back in? Which I couldn't. Well, then I was going to be able to because I wasn't going to go on the flight. But then by the time when I got back to them, they said, oh, no, you have to be here by this time. And that was impossible. But that kind of, the difference. And then I said, well, I'm going to be back in a week or in 2 weeks. And it just felt like, oh, okay, they didn't want to confirm that.
Yeah, right.
And so I'm sure it's going to happen because I'll keep hustling. But there seems to be that if you can just be there, then I wouldn't have missed that opportunity. And then a relationship would have gone a step further than it is now.
Yeah, right.
So, and the difference with people with face-to-face is incredible.
It's just so reinforcing because it was quite a big risk that we've taken sending you over there for so long at this time of our growth, right? Because money's pretty tight and it's a big, far, long way to go, and it's an expensive trip, and having you off the ground in our sales team is pretty tough here, and it's nice getting that reinforcement that it was really worth it, because these relationships with people like Smart Recruiters yesterday and Lever today is so vital. I mean, that's the stuff that's been holding us back, really, being able to crack the States properly. And so it's good. It's kind of a relief, right? Because you go over with lots of hope and you never know whether it's going to work or not.
Yeah.
But it looks like it's panning out, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, look, I just think it's going to go faster. I think it would have happened, but it was going to go a lot faster. And I feel really confident now going back to them and even wanting just to go out for a drink with these guys.
Yeah.
And that's how it happens.
Yeah.
That's what the guy from Muddler said as well. He said, being here, he says, you just don't know who you're going to meet when you're in a bar, crossing the road, in a coffee shop. You just don't know. And it's a crazy how much stuff happens at those times.
Yeah. More so than in New Zealand?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's just bigger. It's more.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a city where connecting is second nature. It's just expected. We want to. It's just, and it's almost like in the conversation, everyone's going, who do I know? Who's trying to make it relevant and go, cool. By the end of the conversation, you've both given each other something.
Yeah.
And that seems to be typical of every interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quite heavy on the advice side. They've got a lot of advice.
Yeah.
But that's good. That's good.
But better that than none, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what was the hardest thing about today?
Just eating on the run.
Yeah.
Right? So I made a decision because I was scared of the States and the food that's here. And, I've seen TV, I was on an aeroplane today and I sat next to a man who was very tall but not big, or, just really tall. And he just ate 2 whole sandwiches, like 2 packets of sandwiches.
Wow.
And I was just like, wow, that's about, all power to him and great. But the portion size is a real thing here.
Yeah.
So I just made a decision to be vegetarian. And even though I was at the airport, I still only ate like this little green thing. And it's made such a difference.
Yeah.
But it's hard because there's incredible donuts.
I know, dude.
I haven't had one.
I know.
haven't had one. They're like this big.
And Mr. Holmes in San Francisco, you're lucky that you're not like going to be there anymore for a wee while, because Mr. Holmes in San Francisco is mental good donuts. Like, you never have anything like it anywhere else.
I haven't even had a piece of pizza. I haven't had.
Yeah,
I've
but
been living on diet water and lettuce.
You wait till you go to New York, then you're going to go pizza mad.
Yeah, but it's also cost. It's the cost.
Yeah,
you know, it's expensive. It's expensive to eat, and I'm Ubering everywhere, and I just have a budget, and I'm trying to stick to that and still be healthy.
Yeah,
and that's hard.
Yeah.
But.
So what did you learn about launching startups today? We've already talked about some stuff from a few people, but anything else that was kind of key? Good to know.
They actually, but something really interesting is they are really nosy about each other.
Oh yeah,
so startups. So I don't know if that's exactly answering the question, but a couple, because I'm talking about all the meetings I'm going to, and then they're like, "Oh, so what's it like in there?" And Lever said, "So how do we compare to the others?" You know,
oh, wow.
It was really interesting, and so I can give my feedback because I've been to so many. And so that was something interesting about startups in general, and that. You know, Lever's quite a few years old. I think they're about 4 years old. They've got 700 customers, and they're still very aware that they have a way to go.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking far out. They've got 700 customers. They've just raised $20 million. I think it's Series B.
Yeah.
And they're still really aware of how far they've got to go. So that's something important for us to understand and realise at year 4.
Puts it in perspective, hey?
It does.
Well, let's cross that really difficult to deal with bridge when we raise $20 million. We'll all have a little hug and a cry about it.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you. Nice talking to you.
Bye.
Bye.